What's good, people? Welcome to the first episode of The Blitz. It's a new show on the zone where we're going to be talking about the latest in the NFL. And what a nice way to start it off. We've got the playoffs, Wildcard Weekend this weekend, starting tomorrow, actually. So, starting on the Saturday. I've got the people with me. I've got Abbas. You've seen him on a couple of our videos. Abbas, what are you saying, bro? You good?
I'm all good, man. You did everybody dirty. If you don't know, Toni came with Gucci drip and they made us all get changed.
Can't listen. Life is about triple jam, man. Where to go now? But
I'm all
listen,
good.
that's life, man. It's not drip, man. It's just I don't have a trim in it, so I have to cover my hairline. That's all. Also coming with the essential drip today, we've got my guy Paul. You heard him on the podcast a couple of times. Paul, what are you saying, bro? You're right.
You telling me? Good.
I'm good, bro. And last but not least, we've got a new addition to the zone. You might see in some of his NFL articles. Look out for some of his NFL articles. We've got Ciaran. Ciaran, what are you saying, my guy? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for joining, man. All right, so basically, it's just gonna be talking about the wildcard weekend. We've got actually a lot of decent games, to be fair, because normally there's always a couple wildcard games I'm thinking, but there's some I'm looking at it and I'm thinking these are actually quite good games. So first, we're gonna start off with the game that's tipping off first. It is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Buffalo Bills. We're gonna get straight into it. Abbas, tell me who you think is gonna win and why.
I'll keep it mediumly short, I guess. The Buffalo Bills will take this game and root this game. It's not going to be a problem. Josh Allen is coming into the league, coming into the playoffs with the third best QBR behind Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. When you're in that type of company, you already know you're doing good. The fact that he's got 4,500 yards this passing in this season as well, you know, at the end of the day, he's coming in for me as the most informed quarterback into the playoffs. And for me, he's probably made the Buffalo Bills probably the favorites in the AFC, but that's a conversation of a different day. As in particular to this game, you have weapons like Stephon Diggs, who for me has been the best acquisition to this offense coming from Minnesota. And then you have Cole Beasley as a slot receiver as well. I mean, for me, this is just a horrible mismatch for the Indianapolis Colts. I will take the Bills. I'll take them quite easily. Josh Allen's going to put up another amazing game, and I think this is the road for the Colts in terms of the playoffs.
Paul, I'm going to go with you. I do agree. I saw Josh Allen torch my Broncos at Mile Highs, and I've been putting my stocks with Josh Allen for a long time. I always thought he was the best QB out of that QB draft class 3-4 years ago now? With Josh Rosen and all them? I think it was 2017. I want to say it was 2017 draft class. But Paul, I'm going to go to you. Are you Are you staying with Abbas with going towards the Colts, or are you going to think the Bills? I mean, go with the Bills, sorry, or do you think the Colts are?
Yeah, I'm staying with you guys. I'm going with the Bills. It's weird because Josh Allen's kind of had a coming out party this year. I just think they have difference makers on both sides of the field. We already know about the Bills D. They've just got difference makers. You know, Stephon Diggs has had a good season. That's probably one of the best off-season acquisitions. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills on this one, man.
So it looks like there's two of you going to the Bills. Ciaran, what about you, bro? Are you siding with the Bills as well, or you think the Colts might have a chance?
Yeah, I think it's the Bills. I think got a better record. Josh Allen's put up like 4,700 yards or something. Stephon Diggs is the most yards of any receiver this year for anyone, and then you've got two running backs that have got 1,000 yards plus together. Yeah, I think I can't see the Colts winning.
You know, I do agree with all you, man. Here, I do think the Bills are a good team. I feel like they've got a lovely link up with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. But I might give a shout out to the Colts though, because I feel like the Colts, they're not as bad as we think. I feel like they have a really good running back in Jonathan Taylor. For a rookie, he had 1,169 yards, which is pretty good for a rookie. They have Quentin Nelson. They have a defense where you still got Darius Leonard, who's always going to be around the tackles, and also DeForest Buckner as well is always going to try and go and hit Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen can avoid the rush, I guess. So I would give the Colts a bit of a shout, but I do think the Bills are going to take it. I'm not going to give a score prediction because the NFL has just been gazy with scores this year. We've had so many random scores. So I think we're all going to go with the Bills. next we're gonna go with what games there? I think we should go with Seahawks Rams. Now I know I've been talking about the Seahawks this season. I really like the Seahawks, but the Rams, they're still a playoff team. They still have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. Paul, I'm going to start with you. Who you taking in this one? Are you taking the Rams or are you taking the Seahawks?
Me and you have been talking about this during the week, and where he said it's a bit of a toss-up, man. But with the facts, man, I just don't feel. Even though I feel like Russell Wilson kind of flamed out towards the second half of the season. Just him and DK Metcalf, man, they're forced to be reckoned. I can't really see the Rams offense like doing too much, even though that Seahawks defense is porous. I'm gonna still roll with them, the Seahawks, man.
Ciaran, I'm going to go to you. Are you going towards the Seahawks or are you going towards the Rams?
I'm leaning towards the Seahawks. I think it'll be close if Jared Goff plays for the Rams. I don't know if he will do. If he plays, it'll be a closer game, but I still think the Seahawks probably going to take it.
You know, I was looking at this game and I might go with the Rams, you know. I feel like as much as I do like the Seahawks, Paul and I were talking about them and they have Russell Wilson has kind of flamed out towards the latter stages of the season. If you think about the start of the season when him and DK were just unstoppable, and then a close loss to the Cardinals, I forgot which week it was. And we've got to remember, as much as I don't like the Rams offense, they still have, if not the Ravens, if not the Steelers, sorry, they still have practically the best defense in the league. They have the best pass defense in the league. You've got your all pros in Aaron Donald. You've still got people in the secondary like Jalen Ramsey. I feel like the Rams they're not a team you should take lightly. Sean McVay, I've always got time for Sean McVay. I think he's one of the best head coaches in the game. I feel like tactically, just looking at it, he's just, you know, head coaches that you think they're serious and they know what they're doing. And I've always seen that with his offensive schemes as well. That's why he makes Jared Goff look better than he is. But I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks as well, their defense is not as great as it used to be. It's not the Legion of Boom Seahawks anymore. Obviously, the Seahawks, you still got Tyler Lockett, you still got DK, you got Russell Wilson. Like, you should always be wary of those three. But you know what? I'm going to be different here. I'm going to take the Rams. I feel like the Rams can just edge out the Seahawks. Because, you know, it's a divisional game as well. At divisional games, you can never really test them. But Abbas, I'm going to go to you. I'm going with the Rams. Paul and Ciaran will go with the Seahawks. Are you going to make it 2-2 or are you going to go 3-1?
No, I'm going 3-1. Everybody knows how much I love Russell Wilson. If I could, I'd put him as my quarterback for my team. Now, what you guys have said about Russell Wilson, like slowly decreasing his production and the offense slowing down, it's more, I reckon, with Pete Carroll scheming. The reason for that is, if you remember, Russell Wilson was throwing the ball a lot, but he was also committing a lot of turnovers. If you know Pete Carroll, he doesn't like turnovers. So if anything, then you slow it down. Now, albeit the offense has been quite stagnant, the thing that pushes it for me in their favor is last week against San Francisco, they were not scoring anything. Come fourth quarter, you know how I feel about Russell Wilson in the fourth quarter. I'd take him over any quarterback. Give me Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Russell Wilson.
You take Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers
100%.
In a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, Russell
I've seen
Wilson.
this guy throw a pick into the last drive of the Super Bowl. Nah, bro. As much as I love Russell Wilson in the clutch, I'm not taking him over Aaron Rodgers or Tom.
I'll take Wilson. Oh, we'll talk about Tom Brady soon. But Russell Wilson in the fourth against San Francisco, 2 touchdowns, led a drive for another rushing touchdown that the running back scored. I still have faith in Seattle. I'm going to go back to your point, though, about it being a divisional game. The LA Rams play Seattle better than Seattle played the Rams when it comes to divisional games. That is my only worry when it comes to Seattle. The Seattle can't score a lot against them compared to other teams. And obviously that comes to the familiarity of the fact that they play each other a lot. I will still stick with Seattle because Jared Goff's status right now, it's a bit up in the air. It's more of a game time decision. I personally think he will play because of the importance of the game. But give me Seattle just because I can trust the quarterback a little bit more. this is going to be another one of them games for me that will be low scoring. It will be, I guess, if you're a new person coming in and want to watch the game, this is probably not going to be the one for you because it's going to be a very low scoring game, something probably around like 13-9 or something as low as that, really. And I'll still take Seattle and Russell Wilson to win because obviously they're playing at home as well.
All right, so it looks like the people are against me in this one. We'll see. We'll see on Saturday. I'm going with the Rams. I don't know why, but I do like Sean McVay and the Rams. Next, we're going to go on to my guy, Tom Brady, who actually, I remember on the podcast you said would not make the playoffs, but here we are talking about Tom Brady in the playoffs. Another episode of Toni was right. But anyway, we move. Washington versus Tampa. I kind of guess this one is going to be a straight sweep, but I do want to hear you guys' opinions about it. I'm going to say, listen, Tampa are a good enough team to deal with Washington. Washington only got into the playoffs because the NFC East is just the worst division in the National Football League to this day. The fact that the Giants could get in, the Eagles, not even the Eagles, and the Cowboys as well. Just the fact that you're in the playoffs with a losing record just says it all really about the NFC East. But shout out to Alex Smith though, and comeback player of the year, whatever, and from going through a massive injury to leading your team back to the playoffs. I respect it. I do like my guy Chase Young, but I don't know. He needs to stop screaming, "I want Tom," because when Tom switches your defense for like 400 yards this Saturday, then what? But anyway, Ciaran, I'm guessing you're going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, man.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see if Chase Young does manage to sack Tom Brady. I think, what does he say? He wants to sack him 3 times. And he's got 7.5 sacks on the season. I don't think he's going to sack him 3 times, but he gets. I think Tom Brady's been sacked like 21 times this season or something. So it could happen, but yeah, the Bucs aren't going to lose.
Yeah. Paul, what about you, bro? Are you going straight with the Bucs, or do you think Washington football team can sneak a win? Hey, how's your first?
Yeah.
Or we can edit this out anyway. Paul, my guy, you're frozen.
He's frozen. What's that mean? The cold?
Yo,
there you go. Sorry, bro, you froze.
I'm back. All I'm gonna say is Tom Brady, AB, Mike Evans. There's nothing else to say, man. Tampa Bay they're gonna beat the Washington.
Say that last bit again. Because you froze that, I couldn't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's freezing a bit.
Wait. Stop.
Hello?
Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, there's no conversation, man. Tom Brady, AB, Mike Evans, I'm not having this conversation, man. They're going to beat the brakes off of Washington, bro. There's more discussion about if Chase Young's going to sack Tom Brady than who's actually going to win. I'm not having this conversation.
Abbas, are you going to try and convince me that Washington have a chance?
Look, I said Tom Brady wouldn't make the playoffs. And the reason I said that was I forgot that obviously the 7 teams and the NFC was so poor afterwards that Tom Brady was meant to make the playoffs. Otherwise, he would have been worse than Jameis Winston would have been at quarterback for a record. Now, you guys have taken Tom Brady. I understand that. You guys love all this gold. I understand that. Give me that young defensive line. Give me Washington to beat Tom Brady and end Tom Brady. I don't care about 40 touchdowns. Jameis Winston had 30. Tom Brady's coming. You're meant to be better than Jameis Winston. That's fine. Everybody
expects 10 more
it.
touchdowns.
What?
That's 10 more. That's 10 better touchdowns.
That's 10 more touchdowns, but the quality of quarterback difference is enough for him to get 10 more touchdowns anyway. So I'm not saying that. Your expectation was to win a division. You didn't do that. When the games got tough for you to win, you ended up losing. When the pressure kicked the most, you lost. And everybody will look at these scores, and then it goes up that thing when people chase up scores. Tom Brady did that quite a lot during this season. What Tom Brady has struggled against is defenses that actually put up pressure against him. And that is this Washington defense. offensively, they are poor. I'm not putting faith in Alex Smith at all. But I will put faith in this defensive line to rush and hit Tom Brady more than I will put on old man Tom Brady to be able to see everything and be able to get passes off. Yeah, so I'll be the one that puts my neck on the line and says it how it is. You guys want to continue with Tom Brady, that's fine, I understand it. But in reality, he's old. This is the season that he should have won it probably. He's not going to have any more good runs. I think Washington might actually hurt him really badly.
Oh, so that's a big hot take. We'll see. I'm going, as I said earlier, I'm going with Tom Brady. I think it's going to be 3-1 to the Bucs there. Next, we've got the Titans Ravens. Now, this was the game just before the AFC Championship, and the Tennessee Titans, who got to the AFC Championship last season, looking back to make a run with King Henry and Ryan Tannehill at the offense. This is a very close one. I'll let you know who I'm gonna think first, but Paul, I'm gonna go to you. Tennessee or Baltimore, man? Who you got winning?
I'm going with the Titans again, man. I'm going with the Titans, man. They're well balanced, man, on offense. I know they have their problems on defense. I think they're like 32nd in third down conversions. So they're literally like a leaky tap. But Derrick Henry, man. Derrick Henry's an absolute savage. Ryan Tannehill has gone quiet. He's gone under the radar, 33 touch season. I don't think, even though the Ravens, just to contain Derrick Henry, they're going to give Lamar and that Ravens offense limited opportunity to score. I'm going with Titans, man.
Titans, okay. 1 point for the Titans so far. Ciaran, bro, Tennessee or Baltimore, who you got, man?
I'm going to say the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens.
I think it's going to be quite close.
Mm.
But it just depends on which team has the better day running the ball rather than throwing, I think. So obviously you've got Derrick Henry on one side, and then you've got Lamar Jackson, who's got like 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Dobbins, who's got like 850 yards. So I don't think the Titans defense is going to be able to contend with the rushing power of Baltimore.
It's 1-1. Abbas, who are you going for, Ravens or Titans?
I respect the Tennessee Titans, but Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson's a former MVP. They're coming back into form. I know there was a small conversation about whether the Ravens can make the playoffs or not at one point, but I will take Baltimore Ravens. I'll take a defense that's good versus a very poor defense. Time of possession is going to be huge, like Ciaran said, in terms of who's going to rush the ball a lot more. You can't, I guess some people would just think load up the box, stop Ryan Tannehill, stop Derrick Henry. But then, yeah, Ryan Tannehill does also have weapons. But if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens can control the time of possession, which I expect them to do so, I personally believe that they will be able to do it. And also at the same time, I believe Lamar Jackson's playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. You play last season, you come out as the MVP, you then lose your playoff game. This season, he's not had any rest. Last season, he had about 2-3 weeks rest before he had to go back into actual game mode, and that actually probably hindered him a lot more. And I think this year, you're going full throttle all the way through. The fact that they had to force themselves to win and play properly to get to the playoffs is a huge thing for me. So I will take Baltimore, and I might be one of the few people that don't see this as a close game.
Really?
I think Baltimore might really run them out quite easily. And that's a worry, I reckon, that for me, the Tennessee Titans can't handle, because they can't play from behind. This game, for me, they cannot play from behind. And I think they'll go behind quite early.
Personally, I'm going to go with Tennessee, to be fair. I feel like Lamar hasn't. We've seen Lamar twice now in the playoffs where he hasn't really shown up. Obviously, he's gonna be playing with that chip on his shoulder, and he's gonna really realize that I kind of messed up the last two playoffs game, so I need to come out. But Baltimore haven't really shocked me this season. Like going off, they were 13-3 last season, and this record isn't as good as 13-3, and also they haven't been spectacular this season. I do like Lamar. He didn't have a bad season, 99.3 QBR, sorry. And like he still rushed for 1,000 yards, so that's still great as a QB. But I can't look past Derrick Henry, man. 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, leading the most yards as a running back, most touchdowns as a running back. Even when Alvin Kamara got 6 in one game, you know what I mean? So like, what King Henry done's only been done by Terrell Davis, and he won the MVP for that. So King Henry's literally coming from an MVP season. One thing that does worry me about this game is that Baltimore's run defense is not great. They hold one of the worst run defenses, in the league. I think that's the 26th run defense in the league, and then you practically have the best runner in the league. Like, it's just a match made for disaster. So, obviously Baltimore still have a chance with Lamar Jackson. You still have a chance, and what is good is that Tennessee don't really have that much of a good D. They're one of the worst third down D's in the league. So as Paul said, it's going to be a leak and tap. So really and truly, I just feel like, you know what, give me Tennessee. I feel like they're going to do him over again, because I feel like Tennessee are maybe one of the only teams that can beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but that's another story for another day. I feel like they're one of the teams that beat Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like with that running offense, you just can't look past.
Just quickly though, are you not putting too much stock into last season's game? And then wouldn't you think, if you come back and you play each other, that the team that's lost would know that this is...
obviously the team that's lost, they'll be rallied up to try to avenge that loss. But one thing I don't like about Baltimore, is their run D at the end of the day. Like, you have the 26th worst. This is from last season. You got battered by the run last season, and this season you do have one of the worst run Ds in the league. It's not great. They don't have a really good, like, they do blitz in the sense their pass defense is good, but their run defense is not great, man. They can't stop the run, especially with someone like Derrick Henry. That's the last thing you want to hear. So I'm not going to look past the Tennessee in this one. I feel like that's just a massive. That's a key matchup which favors Tennessee. So if I have to pick one, I'm picking Tennessee, man. I'm literally going to pick Tennessee. But let's go on to the next one. We've got 2 more games to look at. Abbas, your Saints versus the Chicago Bears. I'm not even going to talk too much into this. I don't rate the Bears at all. I don't rate Mr. Trubisky. The Bears have a decent defense. Obviously, you can still like some Khalil Mack and that. But I don't rate Mr. Trubisky. I don't rate... what's that? What's their other QB? What's his name?
Nick Foles.
I don't rate Nick Foles either. That's why I've got his name. Don't rate him either. Nah. I feel like that playoff run was just Philadelphia. It was just luck, and it was just God playing against Tom Brady. So really and truly, give me the Saints in this. Abbas, I know you're going to go with the Saints as well, but tell me why, man.
I mean, like, okay, so the way I looked at it is Chicago, the guys in Chicago, the head coach, Trubisky, and some kind of, they're playing for their jobs, so you expect them to be a bit more desperate. But there's only so much desperation and go playing in the Dome. Like Drew Brees, he's just been relaxed. Since he's come back, he's not looked bad as well. Alvin Kamara, even without him, even if he doesn't play due to the COVID protocol, Michael Thomas is back. Emmanuel Sanders is still there. We still got Cook and Titan.
Don't say Michael Thomas like he's having a good season. Even Dak Prescott's having
he's not having a good season because he's been injured and he's been off-field discipline.
Yeah, but so is Dak. Dak's a QB. He's had more receiving touchdowns than Michael Thomas this season.
Listen. Are you telling me right now that a healthy Michael Thomas, the Chicago Bears can stop?
No, of course not.
The fact that he has that connection, better connection than probably any other receiver, quarterback connection since Thomas has been in the league. Nobody has more reception than him, probably not even more yards or anything of that nature. So you put that into it. Like, if we're going to keep this one short, it's going to be the Saints. The Saints are absolutely going to destroy the Bears. The Bears can put up more than 10 points in this game. I'll be surprised.
Wow.
I'll be surprised if the Bears can put up more than 10 points.
Watch when they lose.
This
like
game
21.
is going to be one of them. 38-10 games.
Watch when the Saints lose like 28-3. No, I'm joking.
Not
But
in Minnesota. Like I tweeted that. I tweeted we have no Minnesota. So honestly, like I know it's a conversation of a different day, but this is my pick anyway. But yeah, Chicago, I'm sorry. This is where it ends for you. Like you're finished. And I think in the game, they'll switch quarterbacks anyway.
well, yeah, they probably would, to be fair. You can't trust Mitch Trubisky. But Ciaran as well, are you going with the Saints?
Yeah, I'm going to make it a clean sweep. I'm going for the Saints. Obviously, Drew Brees throwing for like nearly 3,000 yards this year. You know, Alvin Kamara rushed for freaking 6 touchdowns a couple of weeks ago, and then can receive. You've got like Latavius Murray, Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, the Bears are going to lose.
Yeah, we can all agree the Bears are going to lose. They're just there to fill up a spot. But last but not least, this is quite a big one, in my opinion. I feel like this is an AFC North, a nice little AFC North matchup. You got the Steelers versus the Browns. Shout out to the Browns making the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. And shout out to Baker Mayfield for turning that franchise around. But the Browns versus the Steelers. Now, this is a weird one because I've always said the Steelers were the worst 11-0 team I've seen for a long time. I feel like once they were 11-0, their record didn't. Not even their record showed that they were 11-0. But the games they're playing, very lucky to win a lot of games. They're very lucky to be a third-string quarterback with the Broncos. They're very lucky to beat Tennessee because that missed field goal. And I've always said the Steelers were very lucky to just have that record. But I digress. They still have one of the best pass rushers in the league. You got TJ Watt, who led the league in QB hits and sacks, and he's just a monster. So you know what? With all the COVID protocol that's going on in Cleveland as well, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I feel like even though they've lost 3 out of their last 4, I think, or 4 out of their last 5, I really feel like they'll just rally on with this playoff win. Maybe playoff experience might hinder Baker Mayfield a bit. I feel like with all the people they're going to be missing due to COVID as well and COVID regulations, I feel like, you know what, if the coach is not there, then give me the Steelers all day long, man. Abbas, I'm going to go with you. What about you, bro? The Steelers or the Browns?
I hear all your points, and I think the NFL is sticking it to the Cleveland Browns. The fact that Stefanski can't play Cole, even though he's the head coach, regardless of whether he's there or not, I think that's embarrassing. That is sticking it to the Browns. Saying that, I'm going to say something that I never thought. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody knows about the history of this rivalry. It's a rivalry because they're in the division, but in reality, there's no rivalry. The Steelers always beat the Browns. The Browns just about squeezed through in the last game against the Steelers as well. But something is telling me that it's time for Big Ben to hang it up. Like, it really is for me. You touched on the defense side of things. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, just run the ball. Just run the ball. They have an identity. If you talk to anybody who watches the NFL, you say, what's the Cleveland Browns? They'll say they run the ball well. And then you allow Baker to pass it when he needs to. That's what if you ask what the Steelers are, nobody really knows. They can't run the ball. Big Ben just likes to throw the ball downfield. The receivers, they drop passes. I wouldn't trust them. Juju Smith-Schuster prefers to be on TikTok and Instagram than he does prefer catching football. Honestly, I remember when he took the crown from AB, and I was never the biggest AB guy anyway, but he still had on-field production. Juju Smith-Schuster, for me, hasn't delivered as he should have. The only stumbling block for me is the fact that it's COVID that's going to get them. And I have one little thing. This could possibly be, if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys were watching 2016, the Cincinnati Bengals played the Steelers. And the Steelers were up and it goes 16-0 and then they just explode. They implode, the Bengals, and then the Steelers hit a field goal, win the game. For some reason, if the Steelers are going to win this game, I have a feeling that 2016 could repeat with the Browns. And I just don't want that to happen. I don't want the Browns to implode on field for any particular reason. And I think if they can stay cool, calm, understand that it's the first playoff game for Baker Mayfield, it will be as well. And they're getting the franchise back. If they win this game, I think it shifts the tide in the AFC North in general. Because now you look at the Browns as you guys can go win the division year on year. If you don't, it's one of them where it's like, okay, you tried, can you come back next season? Which could be a bit of a problem. But go on, I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to take the running game. I'm going to take an identity versus a team that, like you said, I can, from the top of my head, remember 2 games that they've won that have stood out, which were against the Ravens, where they made a comeback against the Indianapolis Colts. Other than that, nothing sticks in my mind for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was noteworthy.
I do kind of agree with you there. Ciaran, what about you, man? Steelers or the Browns?
I'd like the Browns to win. I like Baker Mayfield. I like Jarvis Landry. You've got quite a likable team, and obviously it's the first time in however many years that they've made it to the playoffs. I don't think I can see them winning though. With that being said, the records in the Browns' favour. I know they've got 11-5, and the Steelers are 12-4, I think. But the last few games, I think the Browns have gone win-loss, win-loss, win. Whereas the Steelers went on a bad losing streak and then won one. So the form's kind of on the Browns side. And then obviously you've got for the Steelers, TJ Watt, who I think the sack leader in the league, and Baker Mayfield gets sacked quite a lot. So if he gets targeted a few times, he might just lose his head and just, not be able to throw it down the field anymore. Obviously, you've got Chubb, who's got over 1,000 yards rushing this season. So I think it'd be close, but I think the Steelers are probably going to win, yeah.
So it looks like most of us are going for the Steelers and maybe a best for the Browns, but I can see the Steelers winning. But yeah, that's I see what you mean. That has been our playoff prediction for the zone and on the zone blitz. Guys, thank you so much for joining, man. I had to go out and these. We'll see what's going to happen in our first week of the playoffs, and we'll see if our predictions are right, and we'll see what's going on when the big boy is coming on.
Let's keep a tally of how many predictions we each get right, and then at the end of this,
you'll definitely be wrong. Put it that way.
When it all ends, I'll show you guys why my crazy prediction is actually correct.
Yeah,